First of all, I just want to thank absolutely everybody for being here this morning. This was supposed to be a really small gathering, and then I saw on Friday that Kathy posted this on Facebook, and I just texted my staff and I just said, get ready. I think everybody across Brandon was moved by what happened this past year. Everybody that I know knew Brian somehow. I think everybody knows Kathy, Aaron, the entire family. And I've known them for years. And I think everybody who knows them knows how special they are to our community. Kathy and I met in a business networking group. When I was deployed off the coast of Somalia in 2013, Kathy was the one who was sending me care packages of public subs and pirate-themed lore so that I could be appropriately themed overseas. And Aaron was actually one of my very first tutors at Grade Power Learning Center, the business that I started and has brought me here. My office now is in the same plaza as the Winthrop substation for the sheriff's office. And we were all, at fateful night, kind of shaken when all the sirens were going off and we didn't know what was going on, and we'd only find out a couple hours later how horrific it was. Sergeant LaVigne, after 29 years, 361 days, 2 shifts from his planned retirement, was killed in the line of duty, doing what he had done for 29 years, 361 days, protecting and serving each and every one of us. But this designation is not for the way Sergeant LaVigne died. This memorial is how he lived. To the 29 years, 361 days of his service to the people of Brandon. Brian wasn't just a good cop, he was a good man, a good husband, a good father, and our community misses him. And with this memorial, we will honor him forever. Senate Bill 1716 designates Highway 60 at the Falkenberg intersection the Brian LaVigne Road. This intersection, as Caitlin, a sheriff's deputy in your own right, told me with a grin once, is on the way to work for all the deputies you see here as they go to their District 2 Falkenberg office. And therefore, it will be a reminder and a memorial for each of them of the mentor, co-worker, and friend that they lost. A memorial for everyone in Brandon as they commute into downtown of Sergeant LaVigne's sacrifice keeping us safe, and a memorial to the family to know not just that they, but our state, our county, and our nation are grateful for their eternal sacrifice as well. I know Senator Cruz, Representative Beltran, County Commissioner, the Sheriff, all have a couple words to say. But before I close with that, and Kathy, on behalf of myself, Speaker Sproul, Senate President Simpson, the Governor, the 160 members of the legislature that all voted unanimously to do this, the entire state of Florida, all 200,000 residents of Brandon and our entire state are thankful for you, the entire family, and I hope that this is a small piece of our token for you. Thank you. Senator Cruz?
Good morning, everyone. I'm Senator Janet Cruz, and I want to turn to Mrs. LaVigne and thank you very much for the ultimate sacrifice that you and your family have given to this city and this county. We appreciate all of it. And I also would like to say that this memorial, we've had a burial and now we have this memorial. But what's important, and I'll be brief about this, what's important about this memorial is that long after we are gone, Kathy, long after many of us are gone, this memorial stands so that Sergeant LaVigne's great-grandchildren can drive by here someday and say, that was my great-grandfather, so that people are reminded every day of what our first responders put on the line for all of us. So again, I thank the family. Again, I thank you, Sheriff. I thank all of these officers who know the danger that they're in, yet they go out every single day to protect us. I appreciate them, and I appreciate everyone that's here today. Thank you very much.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you all for being here, and thank you all for having me. Brian was a really great guy. He touched a lot of lives. Before I was elected to office, when I actually had a life, I used to work out at this gym out in South County, and Brian would come in a lot of times in the morning before his shift, and we would roll. We both did jiu-jitsu, and he was a lot higher ranking and frankly a lot better than me. But we would roll because we would come in the morning when there weren't a lot of people in the gym, and I got to know Brian pretty well in that capacity. And he just always struck me, a lot of the higher belts, they tend to have a little bit of an ego about it, but not Brian. And he didn't really have an ego. He talked about his job. He didn't have an ego about that. He was just a real down-to-earth, friendly type of guy. He'd teach me some things because I was lower rank in belt. And when I got elected, I went off to Tallahassee. I didn't see him for a while. And then I heard that an officer had died in a traffic collision during a chase, and obviously I was very sad, and I kind of looked it up. I saw his picture in the newspaper, and that was, it kind of touched me personally, as he did all of us who knew Brian. And so I was glad we were able to include Brian and some other officers from the Tampa Bay region in the bill, where we designated various roads throughout Hillsborough County, and rightly so. And this is a very busy intersection. A lot of us drive by every day, or we come up with our family to do something in Brandon. And certainly I'm going to think of him every time I drive through here, which is not infrequently. And I'm sure the rest of you all will as well, because this really touched our whole community. I know it touched me and my family, and the folks certainly from the gym community that I keep in touch with. And so thank you all for being here and helping to remember Sergeant LaVigne. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. As a county commissioner, and as a person who's lived in a community and given back a lot, what struck me most about what I understood about Brian LaVigne is that it wasn't just the job, it was his heart and soul. He gave back in every way that he possibly could, not only in protecting our communities, but in being part of the community, as we've heard today. When you have someone in a community that's lost, there is actually the duty of all of us to recognize and honor the person who stood up and acted in a position of leadership to protect and serve our community. And Brian LaVigne did that well. Sergeant LaVigne put it all on the line to protect everyone in our county. And for that, we can never adequately show enough appreciation to his family and to the friends, as well as his colleagues. It is my hope that every time someone reads this sign erected in his honor, the recognition of his courage is acknowledged, and peace and gratitude is offered to all those that knew Brian LaVigne personally. I offered our commissioners to celebrate this particular opportunity to honor Brian LaVigne. And that was passed by unanimous vote at the county commission level And I am so thankful for my colleagues' support in this effort. And thank you all for being here today to celebrate the life of Brian LaVigne and to honor all that he has made and to say thank you to his family for what they have given. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Today's a day of gratitude and one of appreciation. I want to start by recognizing the squad that Sergeant LaVigne supervised, all his fellow deputies and supervisors here, his chain of command. Thank you for being here today. I want to thank Senator Cruz and the entire legislative body, along with Speaker Sprouse and Senate President Wilton Simpson and the entire legislative body for passing this bill unanimously. It is our hope that when I say our hope, the 4,000 members of the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office, our Chief Deputy Donald Lazinski, the entire command staff, the LaVigne family that will always remain part of our Sheriff's Office family. It is our hope that this memorial will be a constant reminder of the sacrifices that members of the Hillsborough County Sheriffs make each and every day, 24 hours a day, to keep this community so safe. To the LaVigne family, you're some of the strongest individuals I've ever gotten the pleasure of getting to know. And I hope that today, this memorial will bring some sliver of hope and comfort, knowing that not just the ultimate sacrifice after 30 years that your husband made for this community, but the 30 years each and every day throughout his various assignments and tasks throughout the office that he did every day to make this community a safer community. Thank you.
Can you guys hear? Okay, apparently I have to do the school teacher voice. I don't know if this microphone turns up, but I have a few things to say. Thank you to Florida House Representative Andrew Learned for making this happen. This started in January in my family room with a Guinness Slantra. Thank you to Sheriff Chronister and HCSO for support from the very beginning and your continued support. And to Kim Overman and the Hillsborough County Board of County Commissioners who have repeatedly let us know that they know and they remember. And also thank you, Senator, and the rest of the members of the Florida Legislature. I appreciate you being here and making this happen. And of course, thank you to our friends, because without you, none of us would be standing. I believe this is the last thing I have to do, and I have a few words and then I'm done. Unless, of course, I decide to run for Andrew's seat in the Florida House, or if I run for sheriff, then I'll come back and say some more words. Just kidding. People driving by this sign may just think, oh, that's for that guy that was killed in the line of duty. And that makes it sound like he was a soldier in the trenches who went over the top and threw himself on a grenade. And that's not what happened. I'm going to give you a gift. I'm going to tell you about Brian. So when you drive by the sign, you will know a backstory. You may glean why I told Andrew that the sign was okay by us. First, it was a job. Only one facet of his life. And for all the people who thought when he was killed, oh, that's what he signed up for. Well, that's stupid. It doesn't apply anymore to him than it does for bank tellers who are robbed in a bank, or window washers falling, or you guys crashing on I-4. It's a thing that could happen, but you believe that it'll never happen to you. This is one facet of his life, his job, and it was the type that colored all other facets in his life in Sheriff's Office green. And the three most important things to him in his job were coming home at the end of shift, making sure the people on his squad went home and on time, and number 3, coming home. There was some crime fighting somewhere in that list, but those were the top 3. Literally, I would tell him to be safe, and he would reply, "Don't worry, no matter what happens, I'm coming home." And he wasn't just a cop who was killed. He was once a kid who worked and grew up on a farm in New York. He came to Florida when his dad got a new job that was the same place as my dad, and we went to the same church, we went to the same school. We had assigned seats next to each other, and that boy had no chance. He put himself through college. He worked full-time, and he went to school full-time to make that happen, and he lived on peanut butter and noodles. He proposed to me on the beach, and my response was, "Well, this is so weird." And you know what? It's been really weird ever since. He got married at age 20. After graduating, he had to take out a loan to pay for a suit to interview at police departments because we had nothing. We had no money, we had no furniture, and we didn't care. He got the job at Largo, where he was awarded a Medal of Valor. I don't remember the whole story, but saving people from a bomb was the general gist, and he came home all muddy and torn up when he walked in the door at 7 a.m. Because of the commute to Largo, he applied at Hillsborough, where he worked for 30 years. Caitlin and Liam happened. As he stayed on mids and weekends, I was working 5 or 6 days a week. We saw each other for more than a couple hours, only 3 days per month. He stayed on mids to care for them, passing up opportunities and passing up sleep. He burned up his vacation and comp banks in order to coach Caitlin and Liam's soccer teams. He also coached at Mann Middle School in full uniform as a school resource deputy. Things the kids were interested in, he went with them. Things he liked, he brought them with him. Each kid developed a unique and personal relationship with their father. Brian and Liam got their black belts in Taekwondo, which was many classes, years, and belts. And Brian and Caitlin would go to hockey games and soccer games, have some beers, and probably instigate some shenanigans. Okay, they most definitely instigated shenanigans. The man would nag you to try something new, especially if he thought it was good for you. Caitlin was dragged to Gracie to learn MMA stuff because he insisted that she would be a better and more effective cop. He earned his master's degree to make his sheriff's office resume sparkle, and then he decided that Caitlin should too and nagged her relentlessly. Her degree arrived a week after he died, so she never had the opportunity to show it to him. He taught himself Spanish so he could talk to the Hispanic community, and I know that sounds super noble and stuff, but that is truly and honestly the reason why he taught himself Spanish. He also taught himself bagpipes. In December, he came marching down the hallway, blasting "Happy Birthday" to Liam. Liam and Brian shared a love of history and all things nerdy. One week may be the French Revolution, the other week may be Battlestar Galactica. And those two, when they got together, were absolutely hilarious. So say we all. One day I called him crying from a parking lot because I was so exhausted from illness and work, and he said to me, "Quit." I call it retirement. He then shouldered the burden of earning all the money to support the family. My new job was to spoil him rotten. I made him lunches, I made him dinner, I made sure that all of his things were good to go. And to all the feminists who say, "You shouldn't have to do anything for that man, you let him do it himself." Excuse me, I am a strong enough woman where I don't care what I have to do. I will do what's right, and I made sure that he knew he was loved, and I have absolutely no regrets. His last Facebook post was a checkered finish line flag because he made it and he was retiring. At 6:37 on the 11th, Caitlin called me and said he was in an accident and someone was coming to get me. I called Liam. At 7 p.m., I have a deputy in my driveway blocking me in, saying they were waiting on someone else to drive me. And I am furious. I am telling them to move. He is detaining me, and I have to go. And he doesn't move. I call Caitlin back and demand to know what's going on. I can't get there. This guy has to leave. I'm going to push him out of the way with the Jeep, because apparently a Jeep is a bulldozer, but that's what I was thinking. And let's just say I finally got there, and we didn't go 10:18, which is lights and sirens. The rest of the night was like, I can see your lips moving, but I can't hear what you're saying. Before I figured if anything happened, I expected 2 deputies to show up in black cowboy hats, knock on the door, and I had a plan. The plan was if I saw 2 deputies with cowboy hats on, that I was going to not open the door. I was going to run out the back, go over the fence, because if they couldn't catch me, then whatever they were going to say was not going to be true. That didn't happen. And really, what's the script and what's the plan for what happened? Caitlin, Liam, me, and the sheriff's office just did our best. Today we dedicate this sign to Brian. Other people may see Sergeant Brian LaVigne. I hope that you will think of Brian. He was killed at work, going to a call to check on his squad who were on a call that was going sideways. Goal 2 was to make sure that they went home and on time. Tomorrow's people will start to forget. They'll forget to capitalize the V in LaVigne. They may pronounce his name wrong. LaVigne, LaVerne, LaVigne, I've heard it all. And time passes and fades, memory fades, and life goes on within you and without you. But you will know and hopefully remember, when you drive past that sign, just think of Brian. Just Brian, father, son, brother, friend, my husband, who only wanted to come home on time at the end of his shift. Peace.
With that, from the bottom of my heart, again, on behalf of the state of Florida and everybody who helped make this possible, we dedicate this road the Brian LaVigne Road. And if you'll join me, we're going to take the sign up.
Putting the kids to work.
I'm going to look extremely hard next to you. Was that your plan?
Can you help him reach that? Help, I'm so short. Okay.
How about 3, 2, 1. That concludes the program today. We have a shadow box for the family, some flowers. If anybody wants to participate, now's the chance to come up and say hello. Thank you again for being here.